Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for ICONversations. The ICON program is designed to celebrate our company's top producers. These agents have not only exceeded capping status, but have also reached exceptional milestones, earning them various stock grants and also the opportunity to earn back their paid company dollar. Today from Virginia, we have Daniel Harnsberger. From Texas, we have Patrick Cerna. From Ontario, we have Richard Oyekunle. From Georgia, we have Susan Cook, and our moderator today from Indiana is Jim Pruitt. Jim, take it away.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all the panelists for being here today, and thanks to everybody in the audience for attending. So I'll just give a little brief introduction about myself, and then we'll go around the other panelists. So I'm Jim Pruitt. I've been with EXP about just a little over 8 years, starting 9 years, have ICON all 8 years. I live in a great little town in southern Indiana between Louisville, Kentucky and Cincinnati, Ohio. We're a town of about 13,000 people, and we have a lot of festivals, music festivals, a lot of visitors. We're a destination little town. We have the largest contiguous area on the National Register of Historic Places in the United States. So we have a really nice historic area. So Susan, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and tell us a little bit about your market.
Hi, I'm Susan Cook. I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, the home of Moody Air Force Base. I'm a 20-year veteran. I started my career in Northern Virginia and moved here 6 years ago and restarted my career. And I service the Moody Air Force Base mainly. So I have used the tools that I've gotten from EXP to build a career, move to a different location, different market completely. And it has served me well.
Great, Susan. Richard, tell us a little bit about yourself. We're not hearing you. Do you have your microphone on, Richard? All right. Is Daniel with us? Well, maybe they'll join us. How about Patrick?
I'm here.
All right.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
We'll go Patrick, and then we'll go back to Daniel.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
All right. So I'm based out of San Antonio, Texas. I do a lot of, I just got a residential under contract this morning, closed on another residential earlier this week, but my bread and butter is farm, ranch, land for development, and commercial.
Let's go.
Started out with Marcus and Millichap in 2017 when I first started. My first 2 years, I was 100% broke, in debt with a broken truck, and living on buddies' air mattresses and apartments and stuff. And then I joined EXP and utilized a lot of the training I had done in that 2 years of making no money, but getting a lot of learning. And in that beginning of my third year, starting my first year with EXP, I was able to pay off about $120,000 in credit card debt from all my no income I had in my first 2 years of real estate, and bought my first house, four bed, 2.5 bath house, and bought a new F-250 diesel truck and a new Dodge Challenger and paid off that debt. And so here I'm hitting ICON. So I'm happy to help anybody that's struggling the way that I used to struggle on their mattresses my first two years.
That's a great testimonial, Patrick, and it's amazing what real estate can afford a person. So that's really great that you've turned that around. Richard, are you with us?
Yeah, you now. Sorry, it froze me out for a minute. Can you hear me now, Brian?
Yep, I can hear you now, Richard. Go ahead.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're at, what market you're in. Tell us a little bit about your real estate business.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Richard Oyekunle. I practice in Toronto area in Canada. I specialize mostly in residential real estate. I'm a team lead of 6 other agents. And yeah, the residential market in Canada it's been interesting, I should say, from this year. I've been licensed for 7 years. And yeah, we do bridge of new construction and resale homes. And I've been with EXP. This is my third year.
All right. Well, good deal.
All right.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Daniel, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All righty. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your market, where you're from, and anything you'd like to share.
Sure. Yeah, I've been with EXP for 3 years now. I'm in the Richmond, Virginia market, so central VA, and 3-time icon. Our market is moving steady. The only difference between this year and last year is we have a little bit more inventory.
All righty. Yeah, inventory seems to be going up across the country as we see it, but
Of course.
for most places. So I'm just going to do a little round robin here. If anybody in the audience has any questions, feel free to just raise your hand, and if I don't see it, somebody else help me there. But we're just going to go back through. Daniel, since we ended with you, we're going to start with you again. So just send some list of questions out. We don't have to answer them all that. If you want to go off topic, that's okay. If something's interesting to you, if it spurs a thought process, just run with it. So, the interest rates have been a little bit high. What financing options are you using buyers to help overcome the affordability challenges? Are you getting people to buy down rates, the sellers to contribute to a buy down, or what are you using to help buyers get into houses these days? Daniel, we'll start with you.
One thing we're doing is we're able to search and see if there's any loans that are that can be taken over. So we have the ability to keyword search that, just because someone's selling and they have an assumable mortgage from rates of yesteryear, then that's an option. But I mean, overall, I've been working with same lender for about 7 years now. I mean, I think at the end of the day, people value, unless it's one of those assumable mortgages that they can take over, people value service more than anything. My lender does have a 5-year coupon where when the rates do go down, my purchaser can refinance free of charge.
Cool. Yeah, relationships are important in real estate, aren't they?
That's the truth.
Yep. Richard from Toronto, what financing options are you finding that are helpful for your buyers? Are you with us, Richard? Well, he maybe has. Are you there? All right, Susan from Georgia, tell us a little bit about anything that you're doing to, if you could shut off the mic, whoever's mic is live. It might be, I don't know who it is, but it's getting a little feedback. Susan, tell us what you're using in Georgia, I guess with being a military base, a lot of VA loans?
A lot of VA loans. When I moved here, I had done maybe one in my entire career. So I became an expert on VA loans. There are some programs in statewide, it is state specific, that can help people with interest loans, but it's been difficult. We have to deal with BAH rates and things like that. So you tend to learn how to negotiate those closing costs so that you can buy down, the rate some, or do temporary buy downs is something that I did, but only if I was certain that the buyer understood that was a temporary thing, and it would click up within a year.
Right.
So having lived, what now? Go ahead.
I say with you being the VA expert, you might throw your email or your contact information in the chat box. If anybody has any VA loan questions, I know the people that live near bases tend to be pretty much experts on that because they do quite a few of those. So some of us in the more rural areas don't do quite as many VA loans and sometimes have some questions.
So yeah, being the expert of whatever the economic driver is probably one of the main things that I learned when I moved here. And it served me well. And when I first came here, I was with EXP for a few years, a couple of years.
Right.
It allowed me to move here easily from another state. I was in the DMV in DC, Maryland, and Virginia market. And so, but I thought that I had to go to a smaller independent brokerage because this is a small town. And I did grow there, but not, the statement that you are only you're going to grow as big as the 5 people around you.
Yes.
It's so true, even if it's virtually, guys. I just got to tell you.
I'm a firm believer in that too, Susan.
I kept hitting that glass ceiling. And so I hired a coach who happened to be an old friend of mine and a big Julie Nelson. She wrote a couple of books. And she said, Susan, you'd be an icon if you were back at EXP. And so we developed a plan, and I kept being shown, that I had outlived my time. And if you've been in the real estate world for more than 10 years, you're going to understand that statement. Sometimes when you're with a company, or in a group of people in a business, and whether it's a team or something like that, you will outlive your time with that partnership, and that's okay. It's only business. And I was able to part ways with them, using that mindset, and came back to EXP and Icon my first year. I'm going to cap in 90 days. In my entire career, in 20 years, I have never capped in 90 days.
Wow.
Never.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel, hit your chat button, and there's a question in there. Stephanie from Oregon has a question about your lender and that 5-year coupon. So if you might pop into that chat, Daniel, and answer her question. Patrick, anything that you're doing to help your buyers overcome these affordability challenges? Any tricks of the trade?
And the main advice I give them to inspire them to go forward with the offer is, just going back to the old common sense and going back to basics, not making it very complicated. The first objection is, well, interest rates are so high. This is, everybody's in a financial crunch. So then I'll give them back a very common sense, truthful, good way to look at it is, yeah, you're right. And because of that, buyers are able to beat up sellers pretty bad on the negotiation. And you're able to get it a whole lot. Yeah, but the interest rates. And so then I point out again, the obvious. Yeah, okay. So interest rates are 6.5%, 7% right now. But you do a refi in 2 years, rates will probably be back down to somewhere between 3.5 to 5.5. So you refi in 2 years, you paid high interest rates for 2 years, but you got a better deal. You got a $20,000, $50,000 cheaper purchase in the big picture. You win. You beat them up on the sale price, and you only paid high interest for 2 years. You got a refi, boom, you're a winner on the front and on the back end. So what's the problem? Well, but if I got to sell my house too in order to make the purchase, I'm gonna have to sell it for lower. Okay, you're right, but it's an equal trade-off. You're gonna sell your house for lower, but you're gonna buy your upleg property for lower. Well, I'll just wait 2 more years when the rates come down. Okay, when I can sell my house higher. Okay, you're gonna sell your house for higher in 2 years, but your upleg house is also gonna sell for higher in 2 more years. It's an even trade-off. And you're at a disadvantage in 2 years because why? Now, all the buyers are coming out of the woodwork. Now you're going to have these bidding wars. Now you got 2, 3, 5 people you got to bid against to get that house for a top dollar market. So you want to get it now in a high interest rate market. You got no other buyers to bid against. You can beat up the seller on the price. You're going to sell your house for less, but you're buying for less. It's a trade-off. And so just using that very basic common sense way to look at things has helped me to cap out in about 2.5 months and hit Icon again.
Great, good deal. And you kind of walked right into my next question there. So you mostly answered it, but how do you handle those buyers who say, hey, I'm going to wait for the rates to drop, before I buy? So you kind of answered that, but anything else you want to add to that?
Man, that's about it. They'll, and then if they start to even respond to that or have that conversation, 90% of the battle is won. Because if they were 100% close to it, they wouldn't even ask for your opinion. So at this point, the goal here psychologically and emotionally is to help them to have that confidence to go forward. And then, we're way different than a car salesman, but you go to buy a car, what does the car salesman do? He makes you drive in the car before you start talking numbers or interest rates or how are we going to make the offer or comps, right? Why do they want to do that? They want you to fall in love with the car, and that way you give into the feeling more than to the numbers, right? When they do the negotiation. Same thing with the house. You know what? That's a good concern to have about the high interest rates. And it's a good concern that right now, you're struggling. But that's precisely why sellers are dropping prices. Why don't we just go take a look at that house? Let's go look at it anyway, just for the heck of it. Man, 7 times out of 10, in my experience, you get them into the feeling instead of into the numbers and in their fear. Boom, they'll make the move. You just got to keep on holding their hand through it.
Right. Good advice. Good advice. Richard, are you back with us? Guess maybe Richard has.
Hi, Brian. No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep. Can hear you now. Hey, since you're from Canada,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Anything really different in that Canadian market? Are you still seeing the same thing? People waiting for rates to drop, or what? How do you handle that?
Yeah, I think we're still having the same experience too, but the only thing that's changed is I think our rate is not as high as the States right now. Right now, for insured mortgage, you're probably looking about 3.75. They just dropped the rate on Wednesday again by 25 basis point. So some clients will probably be getting 3.5. But again, the analogy is simple, like what Patrick said, is putting things into perspective for clients, right? You marry the house, you date the rate, right? So rates can always change. You can always go 2 years fixed or go 2 or 3 years term and get it lower. But whatever price you get in this down market, right, it's a long-term advantage for them, right? So it's putting things into perspective for them so they know. Another thing I also do is I get on MLS, which is the website that we use, right, for listings. I track it back to like 4 or 5 years and show them comps of the same property. How the same property is selling for 20% lesser right now, 25%, right? And they can only take advantage of that because the rate is still high. Because by the time the rate goes up again, nothing is guaranteed, but we expect prices to go back up, right? Maybe not as crazy as COVID times, but it might be $100,000 then. It might be more than, or $50,000, And when you put all these numbers in their mind, it just kind of make decision more easier for them to make. But just also to touch on the mortgage question that you asked the other time. One thing also that myself and my team has been doing that has been really working. I know there's affordability problem because of all the things that is happening in the economy. People want to bring down their cost every month, right? So we encourage a lot of our clients to look into houses with legal basement suites, right? So that won't only help their qualification, it also helps them to pay lesser mortgage when they put a tenant in the secondary unit in the basement. So right there, that can take off about 30%, 25% of the mortgage payment, which based on my experience has really helped a lot of people to make the decision with ease because the number just works better that way. So pretty much that's what we've been doing. We also have a partnership with one of the major banks, Bank of Montreal, for the new constructions. So Bank of Montreal, we get firm mortgage approval for 3 years on new construction. So even when builder delays, over time to deliver the project, they know that they've been able to lock down the rate. But if rates drops later, they're able to get into lower rate. So that also gives them some level of assurance and confidence for them to make the decision. So those are the things that we've been exercising to be able to encourage those buyers to be able to make the moves.
Great, good deal. Hey Daniel, we're gonna flip the script on you just a little bit here. We're going to go the opposite way. How do you approach homeowners that are locked into a low interest rate loan and that may want to sell but have that reluctance to giving up a lower interest rate into a higher interest rate at the time?
Is that a question for me?
That's for Daniel. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Daniel. Are you with us, Daniel? We'll go to Susan and get that same question. Susan, do you? I don't know how much being on military base there, but how do you approach? And I guess military base, when they get their orders to move, they're moving anyway. So, but do you have any tricks on how to approach those homeowners that may be locked into a lower interest rate, may want to sell and buy something else?
Well, yeah, we are very transitionary here. So, yep. They are mostly pretty motivated to sell.
Right.
So, but I do get occasionally, I have somebody that's in my database and has been for 2 years. And she looks at houses every once in a while. And I have told her several times. And every once in a while, I just stay on top of what the economic outlook is for our community. I know what's going on with the base, the biggest employer in our community. And, they are expanding. And because I service them, I know when the biggest influx of people are coming. I know really what month they're going to come.
Sure.
And what months they do come. The biggest, they come 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
But, I explained that to some of the locals, and some of the things that have already been mentioned, it's going to cost you more. And as a matter of fact, as he was explaining that, I was thinking I should call so-and-so and tell her, hey, look, man, it's getting close to the end of the year. Those 4,000 jobs that are coming to the Air Force Base are coming, So if you want to buy in that, buy up, you might want to go ahead and take advantage of the prices you'll get for your house,
Right. Yep. Susan, in that same conversation, how do you find off market or properties that, if you've looked for a particular buyer and you can't find it, how do you search for off market properties, or any tricks of the trade in your market?
Well, it's a trick of the trade in any market, Jim. I'm an old salt. Okay. Yep. So when I learned how to do real estate, there was something called windshield inventory.
Yep.
Okay. And so I drive neighborhoods. When I'm going to go show a house, I show up early and I drive around that neighborhood. I take pictures of signs that are for sale by owner. I call them.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily to get I'm not really into getting beat up. That's not part of my market, but a part of my business. But I'm not afraid to call a for sale by owner and find out how much they want for it, or contacting them, or showing it, or writing an offer on it. In fact, I actually love it. But, it's just, you have to be fluid and go out there and just look on, wherever they are. I use all the apps. I use Zillow. I use RPR, a Realtor Property Resource, and all of the tax. You have to learn where they're going to be, where the properties are going to show up. Sometimes they'll show up on commercial apps like LoopNet.
Sure.
We're in a rural area. It's not rural, but it is. It's a small town.
Right.
If you stay on top, you can flourish in any market using the tools, the technology tools that we know how to use,
right,
and should know how to use. But 20 years ago, the buyers started getting smarter, and I always kept that ahead of me. Buyers understand more about the market than they ever have before.
Right.
So to be keepers of the information, which is what we should be, we have to stay ahead of them.
Right.
And so whatever works in your market to stay ahead of them, whether it's driving around, burning a tank of gas, or perusing the Zillow app for the for sale by owners, you can do that and present that to your buyers as well.
Yeah,
So,
and in that conversation, Susan, that I was in training the other day, and one of the things that they're mentioning in this training I was in, that the consumers now have access to so much data with AI and Zillow and Realtor.com and everything on the internet, that it's almost that they're overwhelmed, and now the gentleman I was talking to, the example he gave was that people are going back to attending open houses, and they want to speak to the agents in person. They want to see them. They don't know what to trust anymore. It's almost information overload. So now they want to be back to that face-to-face, belly-to-belly with that real estate agent. So it's somebody, they want to do business with somebody that they know, like, and trust, and has the information they need that can help them filter out any of the information that may not be correct. So I still think that with all that information that's available to the buyers, they need somebody to help them filter that out. So, Richard, any trick to finding any hidden inventory in your market? Richard, you with us?
I'm back. Sorry, I had to take the call.
That's all right. That's all right. That's who am I talking? Was that Daniel?
Daniel. This is Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. Yep. Any tricks in your inventory or in your market to find off-market properties or hidden inventory?
Well, I mean, I think the best thing you can do, there's someone within a 5-mile radius of you who needs to buy or sell a home. So, you can circle prospect that neighborhood, whether that's calling the neighborhood through data provided by a dialer or by simply door knocking that neighborhood. I mean, the door knocking in particular, it's not as glamorous, and it's a little more time consuming than dialing at your desk, but you'll have a way better pickup rate and a lot better quality conversations.
Sure. And sometimes when I've worked with buyers myself, I'll just say, drive around, write down some addresses of the houses you like. That gives me a good idea of what they're looking for. You can look up on the GIS, call the people, and just say, hey, have you thought about selling your house? Well, no. And then you may get 4 or 5 no's, and you may get, well, we were thinking about it. So, just something like that. It may be that those buyers have already picked out that house, and you can start the conversation that way. So, Patrick, I'm going to change up a little bit. How have negotiations changed over the past couple of years with all the information overload that the buyers have? Have the negotiations changed, and have you got any tactics that really work well for you?
Yeah, in real estate, especially with AI and all the new technology, it seems like everything's changing a lot faster than before, right? So to me, things are changing quite a bit more and quite a bit faster for 2 reasons. 1, just organically, everything does anyway. 2, because of technology, inventions, AI. But 3, because of the whole COVID reality in the May of 2022 when rates started spiking high. And because of those 3, I think the playing field has changed a lot very fast. And so one thing that has helped me in this market has been, whether buyer or seller, pushing for creative financing, especially consideration of, hey, let's try to make an offer, do a nice down payment, and then in 2 years do a balloon. Get a bank or a mortgage company to take over the loan at a standard rate and pay off so I'm seeing a lot of success there. A lot of my realtor acquaintances or friends are like, man, I'm doing a lot of the same stuff. How come I'm not scoring? You're scoring. One of the reasons is, I think, because I'm pushing for creative financing a lot, especially in light of, what's going on in the economy. That's one. A second thing, with that NAR, that changed the playing field somewhat in 14 months ago, August 17th of 2024, changing the rules on the 3% non-disclosure and all of that. That really, I think, has helped a lot of us realtors, because now we're able to put that in that buyer rep in a kind of in a different way. And then the way the 1-to-4 contract reads, now it's like, man, it's a lot easier now to use that as part of the negotiation. And you can tell your buyer, like, look, man, I'm going to do you a favor. Our buyer rep agreement says you owe me 3% or 2% or 2.5. Look, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to make the seller pay for that. You're going to get 10,000 for free. You're going to get 20,000 for free. I'm going to make the other side pay for what you agree to pay on our buyer. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's a savings there. So, it's the same thing. It's just, how do you make them look at the same reality differently, just because of a few little different sentences in the buyer rep agreement and in the contract, right? In the 1-to-4. So that has helped a lot. And then now, a lot of the buyers, or the sellers now, they say, well, hey, I keep up with the news, and I see how NAR made this agreement where sellers don't have to pay the 3% to the buyer side anymore, just 3%. So I only want to pay 3% for you to list my house, number one. But number two, I don't want it to be 3%. I want you to do it for a discount at 2.5. And then, so here's my response, and it works like a charm. I'll say, okay, well, look, you're right about that NAR rule. And, but there's a lot of rules and laws about people not speeding, but people get speeding tickets all the time. So the fact that it's a law does not really change too much. At the end of the day, what's going to make a difference on a buyer buying your house at top dollar or not in a timely fashion is, are you incentivizing the buyer agent with letting him get paid or not? And it's against the rules. It's against the law for a buyer rep to do steering, but there's a lot of things against the law that it happens anyway. So it's just a fact that a lot of these buyer brokers, they're going to steer their buyer away from your property because you're not offering compensation to the buyer rep. Again, it's wrong, but that's what happens. If you want to incentivize, you need to offer that standard price. Now, as far as for me, you want me to do a 2.5% on the listing side instead of the 3%? Okay. You know what? I'll even do a better deal, man. I'll do it for only 1%. You will? Awesome. That's great. Okay. Well, but just keep this in mind. If you were a realtor and if you had 10 listings and 9 listings, they're going to pay you the full 3%. But one listing, they're telling you in black and white, I do not value your service and I don't think that much of you, so I only want to pay you a discount commission at 1%. If you were the realtor, are you going to work as hard, as tenaciously, with as much vigor and drive and self-sacrifice for that 1% commission to the guy that doesn't respect you as you will for the 3% sellers? And then they will always look at me and they hate it, but they do it. They get a guilty smile on their face. Yeah, you're right. So look, if you want to motivate the buyer side to bring their qualified buyer, offer them their payday. If you want your listing agent to work full 100% mile an hour, give them a full payday. You want to start doing discount or no pay? Okay, man, it's going to sit. You're not motivating people. Okay. So, I've done that. I do a lot of commercial as well. I do that with sophisticated commercial sellers, and I do it with your basic, simple mom and dad seller of a house. It works. And then one other thing I'll do, they'll say, well, hey, my brother-in-law, my sister, she's a realtor and she'll do the discount commission. And I'll say, okay, well, or my friend will do it for a discount. I say, well, you know what? Think about this. If that realtor will do your listing at a discount commission and I'm a full price commission, if that's how they pay bills, that's how they pay their gasoline and their groceries for their children and family. And if they're willing to give up without a fight and give up their value that quickly and that easily, do you think they're going to fight for your value if they don't even fight for your value?
Right.
For their own? I'm going to fight for my value and I'm going to fight for your value. So I'm not a discount. I don't do discount service. I'm not going to do discount pay. Boom. Right. A lot of times that also does it.
Right. So Richard, if you're back with us, I know that being in Canada I know this National Association of Realtors, that was a settlement stateside. Any
Yeah.
backflow into Canada? What tell us from your side. I'd be interested to hear that.
Yeah, we don't have that here. But one thing that I definitely has been happening in the past years is, right? They can look things up online. That I'll even say some of them are even more informed than some realtors, right? Because they read stuff, they hear things in the news, which for us, it makes them ask a lot of questions. So one thing I now, one thing that is happening for sure is they now have a lot of questions to ask. And once they know that the realtor they're working with is not as informed or knowledgeable, right? I would just say that's the type of realtors they're training towards now. They want who they believe that understand what is happening in the market. They're knowledgeable about it.
Yeah, we lost him, I think.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up just slightly, Richard.
Hello?
Yep, come on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yep. Well, I think he's breaking up a little bit. He's got a bad connection. We'll go to Daniel. Daniel in Virginia. Since Patrick brought up the NAR settlement, were you using a buyer agency agreement prior to that settlement date, or did you just start using it then? And how has that affected your relationship with your buyers?
Well, it was always a rule to use it here, anyways, in Virginia prior to the NAR settlement. Yeah. And furthermore, I always did use it anyways. I mean, think about this: we're professional agents, and especially when the market was more competitive and it was less buyer friendly. Like what professional agrees to provide any kind of service for a client without them signing something? You sign something with a doctor before you'll consent to them examining you, much less treating you. Same thing with an attorney. So why are we as professionals going to pour time into somebody, show them houses without them even guaranteeing that they'll work with us on putting together an offer in the event they like one of the properties? I mean, it makes no sense.
Right.
So we've always used it, always will.
State by state, some of the states required it. Some states had it available but didn't require it. So.
Right. Yeah. I'm proud that we always did. I mean, but by the way, that doesn't mean everyone here does even now. And my previous brokerage, one of the reasons I'm happily not there anymore is like there'd be agents that would fight with me about it. And the reason why, they were just afraid to ask for the commitment.
Right. And that's one of the things that I see with newer agents. It's you get to a point as you learn that you're able to say the difficult things that maybe newer agents or more timid agents won't say. And you have to realize that this is your business. This is your money. This is what you're putting, this is how you put food on the table for your family and pay the bills. And it becomes, to say those difficult things in the beginning is difficult, but practicing saying those things, it becomes easier and easier each time you do it. So Susan, talk about the NAR settlement, buyer agency agreement. From my point of view, I think a lot of agents got a raise because of that. I think it's important because no longer is a listing agent that has little or no experience or has no value and will take a discounted rate to get a listing and then only share with you a small portion previous to August the 17th. And now we can state what our value is for ourselves. So Susan, talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, that, when it happened, I had already, I had moved July the 1st. Mm-hmm. So I was already prepared. I had been watching Leo talk about it for months, and I had my script ready, right? So it was more, for me, I struggled with educating the agents on the other side. Like I said, This is a small town.
Yep.
And EXP has a very small presence here. Not necessarily small as far as a brokerage. There's not any brokerages as big as we have agents here, but that doesn't make any difference. When you're in a small town, sometimes they tend to do things that were common 10, 15 years ago. So
Right.
One of the things that I noticed about here was their lead sources were basically Zillow.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest agents would buy out zip codes. And so that tends to be just door openers. And for me, I honestly, I went into therapy
Yep.
to learn to calm down a little bit, and talked it over with my brokerage team in Georgia. I became friends with some of the managing brokers because I was on the AAC. So, if you educate yourself, and learn how to, one of the things that I learned in the past year, and I knew it before, but it really became very clear to me, is the relationships that you have with the agent population within your market are so important, and especially right now. You don't want to be known as a hard case, somebody that's hard to deal with. And I was quickly becoming like that.
Right.
So, but you also want to be firm and let people know that you are a force to be dealt with.
Right. And it sounds like it was somewhat out of frustration of lack of other agents' knowledge of the forms and the documents.
I almost had a nervous breakdown over the, where they were going to put, we can't be paid we can't co-op.
Yeah.
I
had a closing last week, Susan, where the buyer's agent had the buyer sign the buyer agency agreement at the closing table.
Oh my God. I think I lost my mind right then.
Yep. I just
turn in your realtor card. Oh my word.
Yep. Just file that away. So since you brought up marketing and people buying out Zillow, Susan, we'll start with you. What marketing channels do you use that bring you the best results right now?
Well, I'm a techie. I may be a little longer in the tooth, but that's how I have always succeeded in real estate. Even back in the early 2000s, was being on the internet.
Right.
Whatever way that you can be on the internet is the way that you need to be on there. And so I learned during the Great Recession that you could get listings if you applied to banks. And the way to do it was by doing BPOs. So my job during those years was to apply. And so when I came here, I started, realizing I've always been a little bit anti-Zillow. I've kind of relaxed that a little bit, but I've been, I'm not an order taker. I'm a relationship agent. So, but I do recognize that I need a steady stream of leads. So it took me about 2 years to realize what all the lead sources were. And I just started applying to all of the lead, generation, the lead sources that you pay a referral fee to them. I would encourage anybody out there, if you're struggling with leads, get into Revenos. It doesn't matter how much you're paying them. If you don't have any business, 0 of 0 is still 0.
Put that in the chat box there, Susan, so they can Revenos, so they can know where to go.
Yeah, and now you can actually get certified for Revenos online. You don't have to go to classes.
Right.
How do you spell it? REV. I haven't signed up for it because Revenos wasn't in existence when I signed up for my lead sources. And I just found a few. I'm a Redfin partner agent. I've actually closed some of those, and I realized, that I could be a top agent on there because none of the other agents understood how to work internet leads.
Right.
There's a fine line to, pull out, shift, and start learning, reading the chapter on internet leads.
Sure.
It still applies today. It still applies.
Well, before we go to Richard, I'll just tell you a little bit. I have a marketing guy that I'm on the twilight of my career. I've been in the business for 33 years. I didn't touch a computer until I was 27 years old, but I'm very heavy into technology like Susan. There's some things that I don't have time to do. Before I say what I'm going to say, I have a note right here on my computer. It says, do I need to do it? Can I delegate it? Can I delete it? And so talking about time management, but we do a lot of, I'm predominantly a listing agent. Every piece of advertising I do is working toward getting a listing. My marketing guy out of Louisiana, we have a meeting every Tuesday. We do a lot of social media ads. We do targeting and retargeting. I advertise not only the houses, but then we have marketing pieces out there just for me or my team. I have a small team, transaction coordinator, listing coordinator, and three agents. But over the first 6 months of 2025, for a cost of about $1,200 to $1,400, I had 306,000 impressions on social media and Instagram. So it's a very cost-effective way if you can get somebody to put the ads out. And so posting is one thing, but using the ads is another thing. If somebody held a gun to my head, I couldn't physically go in and do it, but I hired somebody and they make the best use of it. So you run ads and for $1 a day, and you can get different things. We even had a like campaign for one of my Facebook business profiles that we spend $1 a day to try to get people to like that so they can follow our profile. So, Richard, what kind of marketing channels are bringing you the best results right now in your market?
So right now is the social media hat. So we have a solid presence on social media, and also we do a lot of masterclass. So we do that once a month, and what we do is, last year when we started 2 years ago, and we noticed that a lot of people will sign up, but our turnout rate was around 40%. Then last year, towards the end of last year, we introduced AI Dialer. So AI Dialer dials, it follows up with all the leads to make sure we are not getting leads that falls through the crack. So once they sign up for the masterclass, then it follows up with them to call them, text them. Even when we start and they've not joined, it calls them automatically. So it's just like duplicating ourselves, right? AI Dialer can call 500 contacts at the same time, just to make sure that we stay on top of mind and is able to remind them to join the masterclass. And once they join the masterclass, we'll make sure that at the end of the masterclass, we leave them with a material that will be a guide for them to go through, and we'll follow up after them. We use the same AI dialer to follow up with all the list and book appointment afterwards. So that's what we've been using, because 2 years ago we noticed when these leads comes in, then getting those leads is one thing, following up is another thing. But with the AI dialer, we've been able to keep it really tight to make sure that we're having more touches, and that has increased the chances of converting the leads by, I would say, about 40%.
What AI dialer are you using?
So this is called iLead.
Can you type it in the chat?
Okay, I'll type in the chat. It's iLead. I was using them with follow-up bots, but because of the back-end issue, we had to now go with their own CRM. So you might need to use their CRM as well for it to work effectively, but I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, put in there what you're using just so people can see it. I think that's important. Daniel, what marketing channels, what's bringing you the best results in getting business for you?
I mean, I think your database is going to be always your top producing thing. The only way to expand your database is to call people you don't know. So I make a priority to do that every single day through my prospecting, and I just grow it that way. But I mean, I want to call anyone and everyone. I don't really limit myself to one specific source. We only have but so many expired and canceled, and only so many for sale by owners here. So I do a lot of calling of neighborhoods, calling around my listings that have recently been listed, under contract, or sold. So those are my go-tos.
Tell us a little bit difference between your database and your sphere. Just kind of explain that a little bit to anybody that might be listening.
Your database should really be like previous clients, people who you know them and they know you, who are within your market, who would either be buying or selling themselves or provide you a referral. Your sphere should be, that plus anyone who, you pay money to, people in your professional circle. I'm coached in the Mike Ferry organization, so I would include Mike Ferry agents in my sphere, specifically ones on the East Coast, specifically northeast of me, because they're more expensive markets, and a lot of people from those markets like New York, Baltimore, DC, they'll travel here for more bang for their buck.
Sure. Okay. Patrick, what little marketing tricks have you used here lately? Marketing channels, what brings you the best results?
So since I do a lot of land, farm, ranch, land for development, and commercial, I use land.com, LandWatch, Lands of Texas, landbroker.com, landlistings.com, and really, whether it's for residential or land or commercial, and for me, all day long, social media, Instagram and Facebook. When I first got into real estate full time in 2017, I took a really good quality class on social media marketing, and it was like a 2-hour class, or I don't even remember who put it on, but it was good, and it taught us that you want to put 3 Facebook or Instagram posts or TikTok a day, not more than 4, but at least 2 to 3 ideally. You want to put 1, because when you start doing more than 3 or 4, then you lose people. They stop looking. You got overload. So, but you want to be consistent. At least Monday to Friday. Weekend you can take off on the weekend. But every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the best time to post, 6:15 a.m. to 6:45 a.m. And then that algorithm, the most viewings will happen if you post in that time. And then the next algorithm is going to be 12 noon until 2 p.m. And then the next algorithm is going to be in the evening, 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. So I've been following that, and I went from when I first got my license in 2017, I didn't know what was a difference between an appraisal or a survey or an inspection. I didn't even know what a freaking title company did exactly. And I mean, I was pretty ignorant. I could speak, 2 ancient languages and 3 modern languages, and do philosophy and teach philosophy at the university, but I didn't know that basic stuff for real estate. Mm-hmm. So I went from very ignorant, in real estate to in 2 years hitting some pretty good numbers. And I give a lot of credit to the social media following that simple formula is, you could do it noon or the evening, but I like to get there faster. So I always do it 6:15 a.m. to 6:45 a.m. I'll do 2 real estate posts, 1 personal, whether it's about God or my daughter or my hunting passion or fishing, but 2 real estate, 1 personal. And guess what? It's that class was accurate, man. But I'm consistent, and I got a pretty big following, and anybody can accomplish that and pass me up. But you got to be consistent every day, Monday to Friday at the same time, 2 to 3 posts every time, 2 real estate and 1 your personal. Yeah.
What class did you take, Patrick? What was that?
And like I said, I don't even remember. That was in 2017.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was EXP or if it was, what it was. It was a top producer at EXP, and I think she was from Canada. Yeah. But it was in 2019 when I saw that, but it works like a charm.
Yeah. Learning the real estate lingo is almost like learning a foreign language, isn't it, Patrick?
Yeah, sure was, man. I felt ignorant.
Yeah.
I did Latin, ancient Greek, Italian, Spanish, and English, and
Just
man, I just felt like the dum-dum of
yeah.
San Antonio, Texas, man. Didn't know what I was doing.
Well, just remember, ignorance can be fixed. Stupid is
Yeah.
forever. So ignorance can be fixed. So let's go on to our next little topic here, and I'll start with this. So we're going to talk about AI. That's a big thing here with AI. So I got an email a couple days ago that said, "Hey Jim, you're going to be the moderator." Was busy. I went home and I was like, "Oh geez, I got to get these questions out to the other folks on the panel here tomorrow morning early." And so I hit Chat GPT, and it said, "Here's what I typed in. I am an ICON agent for the 8th year in a row with eXp Realty. eXp Realty has an ICONversations panel for ICON agents around the country. I will be the moderator for a meeting online with 4 other ICON agents. Please list 10 questions that are relevant in today's real estate market that ICON agents can talk about so other agents can learn." I hit enter, and then it gave me 10 questions, and I then just tweaked those a little bit. And I said, "No, please make the previous questions slightly shorter." Perfect. Here's a tightened version, 10 questions. And the questions I sent out to everybody, I generated in about a minute and a half, copied and pasted it, put it in an email, and sent it to you guys. So every question that we have today was AI generated from that one prompt right there. So we use AI in our descriptions. But I had an example the other day that a gentleman called me with a 3-unit apartment building, and I was just trying to find out right quick. So I typed in the address of the property. I said, "Tell me everything you know about this. Here's the income. Use the cap rate to determine value." And it was amazing what it spit out. And then it said, "Hey, you want me to do a cash over cash analysis for you?" I said, "Yes." And it spit all this out. "Hey, if somebody pays this much for it, they may be in a negative cash flow." So you can use that for in investment properties also, which was pretty cool. So we're going to go right down the list. Susan, how have you used AI to benefit your real estate business?
Well, of course, I use it for descriptions, but on the AAC, I do a lot of video. So I use AI to come up with scripts for videos. I just did a video for a giveaway that I am doing for a local charity that is for Mission 22. So I had no idea what to say. I just typed in there, what do I say about this gift that I'm giving? And I just listed the items that I'm giving. And they came up with the script, and I kind of incorporated it, didn't memorize it, but it gave me tips on what I was going to say during my video. I use it for everything, though. I use it for everything.
Yep, it's amazing. Richard, do you use AI in your business daily?
Oh yeah, I use AI for everything. Yeah, we use it to write scripts for the video content that we do. We use it to do market analysis. We use it for email campaigns, right? We used to build. You can build as much as long as you want, like build 3-month email campaigns for buyer, for seller, for closure. Then we use it for the script for the AI dialer, right? How to respond, and it just get better in time too, right? After a few conversations, it just refines it and get better. Yeah, so we use it for everything.
Good deal. Daniel, what about AI? Here, before you answer that, Daniel, let me just say one thing that crossed my mind here. I was in a training the other day, and it said a lot of real estate agents are using Chat GPT for their descriptions, and they're saying, hey, you might want to use get 2 or 3 other AI types of whatever it may be, Gronk or whatever it is, because they said a lot of real estate agents are using Chat GPT, and all the ads are going to sound the same. So you might kind of research 1 or 2 other ones. And I'm sure that a lot of folks know this, but when I started using AI, I told it everything about me, my name, my address, my company, how long I've been with it, a whole bunch of information. And I just told it everything that I could. And then I said, I want you to ask me 20 questions about my real estate business so you have a more clear understanding of what I need from you. So if you go in after you put in all of your information, have your AI program ask you 20 questions, and you might wait 6 months and do it again, so it learns you even better. So it's pretty cool. So Daniel, what do you have to say about AI?
I would say I'm probably using it the least of anyone here. I didn't even know ChatGPT had a paid version until last week, which I did get.
Right.
So, I mean, I was using, I probably will continue to use it for listing descriptions, but at the same time, I think you have to be really careful there, as everyone said, not to make it sound like everyone else, not to make it sound like too much fluff, and also to check it for accuracy, and make sure you're telling ChatGPT what to do, or whatever program you use, what to do versus, just specific to the listing description. Like, I think some of the obvious stuff that you would just see at the top of like the public sites, the beds, baths, and square footage, put that down in the third paragraph, and you can tell Chat or whatever you use to do that. But yeah, it's my contribution on AI so much.
Well, Glenn, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Glenn, the founder of EXP, he's very, very deep into AI, and I think that's what he spends most of his days doing, from what my understanding is. But he, on a Sunday afternoon, he spent, I don't know, a few hours. He has a Spotify channel with all AI generated music, and I forget what it's called right now, but it was kind of neat just to click on that. So, Patrick, what do you AI? How do you use it?
So, for the first time, about a couple of months ago, I used AI or ChatGPT to create a slideshow and PowerPoint. Before that, I always did it the old school way. I didn't trust AI. I didn't trust ChatGPT more than what you would use Google for. And then I took a buddy up on a dare or challenge, and I started doing it. I'm like, whoa, man, that's kind of crazy. Did a really good job on my power. 5 minutes on.
You went away, Patrick. We must have lost Patrick. Are you there? All right.
Hey, I'll add something, Jim. I have used it for like we all use SkySlope for EXP.
Right.
I had a full-time assistant start 2 weeks ago, and ahead of her starting, I was preparing a training manual, and I used AI just to make me an outline format of how to upload a listing contract into SkySlope and put it all together. So, I mean, that saved me and different components of SkySlope, how to enter a buyer contract, put all that in.
Right.
That saved me hours of time versus going through it, doing it, and me typing out every step. I just copied and pasted.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it said many times that agents that don't use artificial intelligence are going to be out of the business in 5 to 10 years. They will just can't keep up. They will not be here. It's here to stay. So is there any other tech tools that Daniel, that you think are very important other than the basic, forums and SkySlope? Is there any off the wall tech tools you're using to help your business?
Off the wall? No. I think I'm big on Google Chrome. It's not great if you're trying to use it for graphic design, but I think top producing agents should have someone else doing that rather than themselves.
Sure.
I use Chrome, so like I can also everything in my laptop is also on my phone. So if someone needs a document real quick, they can't get a hold of my assistant for whatever reason, and they call me, it's right there, and we can send it out to them. So I'm having a cloud-based computer was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Sure. Absolutely. Richard, any tech tools that you highly recommend? Richard was having some difficulty with his connection there, so I don't. Richard, are you with us? How about Susan?
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is. Richard, yeah, Tech Tools.
Okay. Tech tools, for sure, Canva, and it's good that we get that for free. With EXP, Slack as well. We use that for the team. We use that for the team to share content and also to keep the communication tight. AI Dialer, I know I keep saying AI Dialer is just because it's just been a saver. It's really helping our business. I think pretty much that's what we use a lot out of all the tech options that we have.
Okay. And I failed to ask Brian when we started. Was this supposed to go to 12:45 or 1 o'clock? I don't know if he's listening. 12. But Susan, any tech tools that you recommend?
I would recommend using something that we already get for free now, and that is Lofty or KV Core.
Okay.
They have them built in. I haven't even tapped into all that Lofty will do. I actually been using Lofty for a couple of years now, and I opted into just keeping what I got instead of moving to the free version because it was just so built out already. And I don't even use half of what and it keeps changing. There is an AI component to that website that is phenomenal. It texts me all day long.
Right.
So anyway, that's mine. And I would also like to know whether or not we're supposed to go because I got a closing in 30 minutes. I'm
not sure how long we're supposed to go. Maybe he'll overhear us and pop in.
I think it was 12:45 in all fairness.
12:45.
And wrap it up now.
Okay, good deal. So we'll just have one closing round with everybody. We'll just go right down the list. Susan, you just anything that you want to add to anything we've said today? What little tidbits or gold nuggets would you like to share with the audience?
I would just ask, tell everybody to just plug in, sign up for FastCap, take FastCap over and over and over again. That's what some of the people in our group are doing. Find a group to join. My coach, Julie Nelson, has a group, and it's open to all EXP agents. So shoot me an email. I'll send you a Zoom link. We meet on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Just keep plugging, use your tools, find a coach, look for all the information that you can to be a better agent.
Great. Richard, closing comments? Daniel, anything to add, Daniel? Comments, any gold nuggets you can share?
I think the more one-on-one conversations you have with people, however you end up having them, whether you're just a social media superstar and it leads to people sliding into your DMs and you talk to them that way, or you make phone calls or you door knock or whatever, the more one-on-one conversations you can have asking people for their business, the better you're going to do. And if you supplement that with sharpening up your skills, learning to handle objections, you'll go a long way.
Great. All right, Patrick, any closing comments?
I would just say, do not give in to despair or discouragement. Don't let rejection or failed transactions or not hitting the numbers you want, don't let that slow you down. When you feel the most discouraged, by act of willpower, work harder and just keep doing it, and it will pay off. Just keep going.
Great. Good wisdom. Thanks, everybody, for being on the panel today, and appreciate you letting me be the moderator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Join us every Friday for ICONversations. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button and subscribe, and reach out.